Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
All right. Thanks, Melanie.
Mhm.
This is the April meeting of the Stonington Harbor Management Commission. We have 6 members present and have a quorum. Present are Melanie Degler, Jesse Diggs, Paul O'Neill, Caleb Rose, and Joe Williams, and myself, Jay Spalding. And Harbor Master Donch has joined us tonight as well. So that gives us 6 members and a quorum.
Jay, do we want it in the minutes that Bruce Anderson is not renewing his commission?
I will
Bruce.
address that in a second.
Okay.
I guess, I don't know if he's going to join us. He's still on the commission to the end of the month.
Actually, Caleb was sending you a link.
So, yes,
Okay.
note right up at the top here, Bruce Anderson is, this would be his last meeting. His term expires at the end of April, and he's elected not to renew his appointment. And the First Selectman's office wrote him a nice letter thanking him for his service, which I believe was 6 years of service.
That's nice.
Coincidentally, my term was up in April here as well, but I did renew my term. So I'm renewed through 2024 now.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, let's get started with our agenda. First, our agenda is to review. We have 2 sets of minutes to review from the last month's meeting, as well as the special meeting we had. So first would be the minutes from the March, what is it? March
March 8th.
8th meeting, yes. And we can review the action items.
Melanie,
Okay.
Bruce McKinnon should be trying to join. He just called me.
Okay, thanks. I haven't seen it up on the screen yet, but do you want to go over the action items, Jack?
Yeah, do you have them?
I do.
You could read them off, Melanie. That'd be-
Okay. Action 1. Harbor Master Donch will contact Sound Marine to assess the area at Pawcatuck Point for placement of a helix mooring. Green can number 21 is approved by DEEP for private ATON. Placement will occur in the spring. Harbor Master Donch will discuss that in his report, but that has been completed. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to let Bruce in. Okay. Action item 2, Harbor Master Donch. Hi, Bruce. Harbor Master Donch will speak offline with Commodore Motherway to confirm the club's purchase and assign a new mooring location in the north area of the harbor. That's on hold, Eric?
Yes, that's on hold.
Okay. Secretary Degler will add all special use mooring holders to this category within online mooring and automatically issue renewal notices to the Yacht Club, Watt Club, and Ness. And that was completed. Online mooring is in the process of putting that together. It'll take a day or 2. We have to add all of their moorings into the database. They weren't there. And so they're going to do all that for us, assign it, and then they're going to send out the bill to each of the clubs individually, and they will pay through online moorings. So that's completed as well. Action item 4, Harbor Master Donch will schedule time to speak to special use mooring holders of safety habits in the harbor. Do you have that on their agendas yet?
Spike Lobdell and I are working on coming up with a good common time and making that happen.
Okay, great. So I'm going to show that as closed.
I like it.
Action item 5, Commissioner McKinnon will speak with Ian at Don's Dock about needed replacement of any of the current transient area anchorage buoys since at least one was damaged last season. Bruce sent me an email on this and he completed that. And there's no issues with the current buoys assigned. Is that correct, Bruce?
That's right. Ian agreed.
All right, I'm showing that closed. Secretary Degler will set up automatic emails and online mooring when Harbor Master Donch approves all renewals and new applications. She will also set up automatic overdue notices for sending in the end of June each year for those mooring holders who have not paid their annual fee, showing incomplete in the system. That's already been set up as an automatic, Eric. Just an FYI, you'll want to approve all in your system by May 31st that are showing for approval, because if they're still showing on June 1st, they're going to get an overdue notice on June 15th. It'll mail out to them.
Okay.
So we don't have to be sending those manually anymore, and that's a good thing to have happen. So we don't have to manually do it, and whatever's in the system, they get a notice. So that's completed. Action 7, Commissioner McKinnon will buy the Aton in March from Gilman Company, and Bruce sent me an email and said that was complete as well. So that's all set, correct, Bruce?
Yeah, maybe I could do it right now. Eric, I just need to call them tomorrow with the number that's going to be on it. I seem to remember 21 or something, but I'm not sure. Is it 21?
It's a green buoy, number 21.
21.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
It's in the action items, Bruce. Listed first action item number. It's listed the green can.
Okay. Well, I know it's a green can, but I didn't know the number.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, so that one's closed too. We're great at this. Action item number 8, Harbor Master Donch will contact Greenhaven Marine to discuss installing 5 new slow no-wake buoys around Sandy Point once the town approves the ordinance. That's completed. Eric sent me an email that he is in contact with Greenhaven Marine, and he'll also discuss that in his report. So that's closed. Action item number 7, Commissioner Williams will email to all commissioners the information he received on the town climate change task force, and Joe completed that, so all good there. Action item number 10, Chairman Spalding will add the topic executive session to April's meeting agenda to discuss during the regular meeting at the end, and that was done as well. So we only have one open action item out of 10. Great job, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last regular meeting?
I so move.
Thank you, Jess. Second?
Second.
Any more discussion on the minutes from the last meeting? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to the minutes from the special meeting we had on March 31st,
March 29th.
March 29th, 31st, yeah, 29th.
It's all in
I
there.
came up with that. There we go. Let me open them up here. It was a one-page minutes, and they and I also did send these minutes to the Coast Guard up in Boston, along with an email introducing it. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting?
Joe,
Motion.
In second, please.
I'll second.
thanks, Paul.
Any discussion or corrections for these minutes?
The only thing I would like to say is I think Joe brought this up, is that the removal of those buoys makes that channel totally unnavigable. And it's too bad that that didn't end up in our notes that have already been sent to the Coast Guard, because that is one of the things that I think Joe brought up on several occasions, and so did other people. So the likelihood that those buoys will be removed due to ice is pretty slim. But the fact is, if it does occur, that channel is totally unnavigable until they're replaced.
Okay, I can amend the minutes to include that. And I can,
Yeah, but you've already sent this notice into the Coast Guard. So, you know, we complained about it to the fellow that was on the line, Joshua Reeve, but you know, we can put it in the notes now, but it's water of the dam. It's irrelevant to some extent, other than our own satisfaction.
well, we
I
didn't,
agree.
we didn't use those words, but we did stress the concern to have the buoys replaced as soon as possible if removed for weather issues.
Right.
Since there
And
are
it is
there's
stated in
commercial
there.
fishermen who use this, the point for their livelihoods and key buoys. And we noted key buoys for that.
Okay.
I thought we did a decent job of addressing
Okay.
that.
Well, that's fine. We'll leave it as it stands. There's no reason to make any changes to the minutes.
Okay, just wanted to relay, Jesse, under the key points there, I put in that I typed in the information about the public comments, stress the concerns of those buoys, and then I noted the exact buoys that they were looking at as concerns. I believe Susie from Greenhaven Marine with the aquaculture, she has the help me here, seaweed kelp, that's the word I wanted. She has the kelp business and it was affecting her the most. So I did a bullet with those key points, and that's Jay sent that up. So I think we did cover as best we could.
Okay, I'm satisfied. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion of those minutes? Okay, all those in favor of approving them?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. At this point, I want to acknowledge Bruce Anderson's service to the commission for 6 years. I thought he did he brought a wealth of knowledge about the harbor from his time on the harbor and his history with the harbor, as well as his knowledge of boating, and helped us tremendously over the years. So I want to acknowledge that and note that we now have a town, an opening for a town, Stonington town resident on the commission. And so we'll have to work on filling that. If you know people who would like to do it, they can send a letter to the first selectman's office and also contact us to find out what is entailed and what's expected of by the commission of commissioners to get a feel for the job. If you have people who you think might be interested, they're welcome to apply.
I know two of my neighbors, Will Mackay and oh shoot, I'm sorry, I'm a little lost for words tonight. Fisher's Island Oysters also lives down the road from me. They had both expressed in the past they might be interested in joining the commission. So I could reach out to both of them and see if either one is interested and relate to them to contact the town. Is that correct, Jay?
Yes, that would be what they'd do. Yep. Contact
Okay.
the first selectman's office.
Okay, will do.
Get in touch with Stacy Haskell there would be the best.
Gotcha.
I have some ideas as well, so hopefully we'll get a few applicants. We can and there'll be a selection.
Great. A question, Jay, do we have anyone that's interested? Do we decide or does the town decide who is chosen?
It's chosen by the selectmen.
Oh, I see.
They choose at a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if we'd be happy to give them input based on the qualifications of the people as to what we need or whatever, but it's actually chosen by the Board of Selectmen.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Hopefully they would ask for input. We'll see.
Hope so.
Okay. Let me find my- All right. Okay, so we have no members of the public, I believe, right? So we can
No.
public
just
comment
us.
into correspondence. I sent these items out to everybody. The Little Narragansett Bay Oyster Company has an application with the it was communication with the Shellfish Commission about a meeting they had. I didn't get anything I felt was formal from these guys for approval. They have a proposal to have an oyster operation just north of Elihu Island in Little Narragansett Bay or in Wicketquack Cove. There's really no traffic there of any kind except for kayaks, perhaps. I guess they're in the state waters, so I guess there's no issues with the Elihu Island folks. I don't know if they use that north end of the island waterfront or anything. So I personally, I don't see any problem from a navigation point of view or waterway problem for that application. Again, I'm not sure what the procedure is. I didn't receive a formal application from them to review that, or no correspondence was requested of us to consider it. But we had the application from the Shellfish Commission and could address it. I hope you all looked at it. And if there's any, I was wondering if I could get a motion to approve the Little Narragansett Bay Oyster Company's application.
I so move.
Jay, I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Eric, did you have any opinions on the use of the water there?
I'm just trying to reopen the email real quick because I wanted to look at the chart again real quick where they had it. It may influence a couple of moorings that we have in that general area, but I don't think it'll be an issue.
Not the moorings close to the kind of on the east side and east and south side of the island.
We've been putting some like Will Mackay's mooring actually is almost on a line between the northern tip of Elihu and Goat Island. His is up in that area. There's a couple of small boat, and then I think all of those would be well away from the proposed area, but like the last one or two moorings in the line that comes up the deep channel on the east side of Elihu and then wraps towards Goat Island. The last one or two might be on the fringe of that, but it's something that we can easily work with.
Okay, well, Will Mackay's, this is his operation. So
Right. So
I wouldn't think that's an issue.
that's an issue. Yeah, I don't see a problem.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to 11 East Neck Road. This is a dock extension in permit applied for dock extension on there. Looks like they're just extending their existing dock out with a lift. Which can be problematic along that side of the Wampausick Point side of the harbor. But it looks like this one's kind of tucked in a bit, and me, it doesn't look like it's an issue.
It's fairly shallow up in that area. We don't have any moorings close to that. As a matter of fact, 2 or 3 of those homeowners have moorings that are further offshore for quote unquote storm moorings, just to get the boats off the docks in a little bit of a blow. So it's not an issue from that standpoint.
Are you guys having trouble
You might
hearing?
want to
Eric?
use your microphone.
I can't
Whoops.
hear him. There
That's
you go.
better.
Keep forgetting about that thing.
Thank you.
So take it from the top, Eric.
2 or 3 of the people up in that area, that northwest corner, also have littoral moorings out there that they use for weather moorings to get the boats off the dock. But I don't think that dock extension lift is going to be any issue. We don't go that close to shore over there, so not a problem.
I didn't know, I didn't see in that information that, or I might have missed it, were the neighbors contacted to see if they had issues? Because it seemed like a significant extension out into the harbor.
They have to be by permit application. They have to
Okay.
be notified.
I don't think it's an actual extension out into the harbor like you might have think. I think the dock basically exists. What they want to do is put in a ramp and a float for their boat. But I think the dock already exists, 110 feet. Is that right, Eric? I don't have
It sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Most of those homes do have an existing dock. I took it as like a jet ski ramp and boat lift next to the dock when I looked at it real quick. So
It appears to be a 20-foot extension, a 40-foot extension. a
Yeah,
40
I thought 40 feet.
And
was-
then another 20 feet for the pilings. So it's going out 60. The whole business is going out an additional 60 feet.
won't hurt us from a navigation standpoint.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but just to clarify, it's not just a ramp on the side of the dock. They're going 40 feet further.
That's what I noticed, that 40-foot issue. So I didn't know if that was, you guys know better than I about that kind of thing. It just seemed like a lot of feet.
Okay, so yeah, so our question is whether this is consistent with our plan, and I think which would be our working out guidance. So the only things there, I guess, would be the neighbors being contacted and the whether it's a navigation problem. So I think we've addressed navigation issue, and they should be contacting their neighbors through the deep process. I think everything's accounted for there. I get a motion to approve. I already asked for a motion on this. Melanie? Or no?
Make that motion, Jay. Motion to
Okay.
approve Lubert's dock extension.
I'll second that, Jay.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Which brings us to our next piece of correspondence, which is relevant to this too. The Connecticut Harbor Masters Association email regarding the Superior Court decision regarding the Harbor Management Commission's authority. I thought this was interesting. Hope everybody read it and could read the highlighted sections, or I guess, Paul, you figured out which the highlighted sections were after I sent you the unhighlighted one?
Yes, thank you. I think that's the
Okay.
limits of an iPad.
Yeah,
Maybe I didn't pay for Adobe Acrobat, the correct version. Not sure, but anyway, thank you.
could be.
Because those were the relevant sections.
My Adobe, it
I do have
displays
some
properly highlighted. You can read it, no problem. So, there was, oh, let me open the highlighted one for myself so I can see those sections. John Pinto does a good job keeping track of these things for us. This is, it certainly is relevant for, but I think our procedures and policies have been consistent with this Superior Court decision. Let me get to the, so it's on page, so the whole thing was kind of interesting. I mean, there's definitely an issue here for this particular dock permit. So I guess they're trying to claim that the Harbor Management Commission had more authority than it did there in the town of Greenwich. I'm not sure the Harbor Management Commission did, but the attorneys for the homeowner fighting the action. So on page 4, the Superior Court says that it does not. The Harbor Management Commission does not have the power to make binding recommendations to the Deep Commissioner. And I think that's consistent with what we do. We make recommendations, but they're not binding. They're Deep can do what they want with them.
Okay, can I make a comment on that?
Sure.
I pulled the Connecticut General Statute that was referenced in the court decision and by Mr. Pinto's letter. And I read that, and I read our harbor management plan, and it looks like we are consistent, like you say. But then one of the sections of the Connecticut General Statutes, 22A-113N, if you go to the last paragraph, I'm going to read it. And it seems like the court missed this. At any rate, the last paragraph of that statute states, when city has established a harbor management commission, which has enacted a harbor management plan, the terms of that plan are binding on the commissioner when he issues a permit to construct docks. So it looks, I'm not a lawyer, but it looks like there's either conflicting rules in the Connecticut General Statutes or the court missed that paragraph. So I'm not sure. So at any rate, the Harbor Commission Association is going to file an appeal. I don't know if they can appeal. They may not be an interested party, but hopefully they'll clarify this. But I think in reviewing our harbor management plan, I think we're fine. We just review whether we're consistent with our wharfing out plan, and we make a recommendation. So,
Paul, is it worthwhile highlighting what you just cited and send that off to Mr. Pinto?
I was thinking that, yeah, maybe Jay would be the best one to do that. I can send you this after the meeting, Jay, so that
Yeah, that'd be good. Why don't you do that? And
I'll send you an email.
you give me an action item to send that to CHMA.
I'm sure he's aware of it, but yeah.
Well, at least it shows him we reviewed it, and this does, this is an issue. We have had several contentious permits and dock situations where we've had the thoughts about what our powers are and how far our recommendations can go. So this would help us too.
Okay.
So on page, there was another highlighted section on page 6. that Superior Court said there is a place for harbor management commissions to make recommendations about individual activities. It talks about 22A-113P.
Right.
But it says that applies in front of local authorities, not state authorities. So I think that is contrary to what we believe. I think we do believe we have authority we have the ability to make recommendations to state authority. But they're not binding.
I can send you that too, Jay. I looked at that with regard to the management plan, and that statute talks about our approval of local agency actions, and our plan is consistent with that as well. So I think we're covered on that. It's just a question of whether we can make comments to deep, and it sure looks like we can, so. And
Right, that's good. I mean, we've had a good working relationship with them over the years on these issues.
yeah. and
And
the
you agree
private
with
person
that
can
sentence?
make recommendations, so why not the commission as a, recognized body of the town?
Right. But they also say their last sentence is the Greenwich Harbor Management Commission has no veto authority over the state permit. I'm sure we all agree with that.
That looks like that's true.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? Okay, moving on then to our next item. The treasure, out of jurisdiction, I got, it's funny, I got from DACO this 22 Quarry Path thing on Lord's Point by email last month, and I emailed them back and said, that's not our area. They mailed it to me anyway. A couple of big packages in the mailbox, so. Okay, on to the treasurer's report. Without Sherm here, but Sherm did send it in. And can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I so move.
Thank you, Jess. Second,
I'll second.
thank you, Paul. Any discussion? How's it look to you, Eric? Are we getting the more in accounting must be behind yours, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't, the $700 fee deposit is about the only thing that would show. There'll be another $17,000 deposited tomorrow, so that'll show up on his next report.
Okay,
And I haven't submitted any expenses to him, so it looks pretty good on my end.
okay. Bruce, on the buoys, any update on buoy costs? We had $5,000 on the,
Hit the unmute button first.
there we go.
I'll go over, I have some numbers,
We'll go
and
over.
it looks like it's going to be under old business, Sandy Point SNW buoy acquisition.
Okay,
Okay.
you can address it there. Okay. Any other discussion on the treasurer's report?
Also, I submitted expenses for the Zoom account, and I do them quarterly now rather than sending them monthly, and Sherm doesn't have that included, but he submitted a check for reimbursement for me,
Okay,
but he'll probably include it next month. He sent me an email and said that it was kind of a slow month on finance, so.
okay. Yeah, there wasn't nothing in the town mailbox for invoices or anything. It was slow that way too. All right, all those in favor of the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on. Harbor Master's report. Eric?
All right, so I apologize for sending, it did go out at about 4:30 this afternoon. So you should all have it on an email, but no new. I left Paul's 6 mooring assignments that we talked about last week or last month as in process, as opposed to switching some of them over to issue. So that's just still an ongoing thing. We did deposit $700 after the last meeting. That shows up in Sherm's financial report, and there will be a deposit of, let me fall out of my chair reaching for it.
No workers'
17
comp claims.
No, see, I'm not part of the town. I'm part of the state. So mine goes
Oh,
against the
okay.
state. Yeah.
Then you can
Uh,
call because we don't have paperwork to do.
Okay. Yeah, there'll be a $17,750 deposit tomorrow that includes a couple of commercial accounts and a bunch of private, and a $5,500 check from online mooring. So things are working through pretty good. As far as renewals go, 154 private are approved. So on the report, it says 117 commercial approved because I didn't understand that Don's Dock actually submitted their payment through online mooring. I was kind of expecting to see a check from them, so I didn't include theirs, but Melanie straightened me out before the meeting started, and I saw where that's recorded in the online mooring database now. So all 128 commercial moorings are approved for the year. There's 53 that are in the incomplete status, and then like 70 some that still haven't been received, which we're pretty much on track for where we are at this time every year. So I've got the paperwork, permit paperwork to submit to Michael Payton at the state for the Sandy Point slow no wake buoys. Now that the ordinance is approved, we can make official application on that. Mike has been out on the boat a couple of different times. I've showed that area to him a couple of different times. He's familiar with it. I don't foresee there being any reason for delay in that permit going through. The only delay might be the fact that he's working from home instead of out of the old Lime office. As far as I know, he still is, and that's been slowing him down a little bit. But I don't see any reason to not move ahead with buoy orders and going forward there. We should have that. Now, I will stress to him when I submit it via email. I'll also call him, talk to him, and stress that this is something that we really want to have in place before the boating season gets heavy this year. Try for having the buoys in somewhere around June 1, maybe. We'll get it as we can. Along that line, I did talk with Jay Douglas at Greenhaven Moorings. And he is going to provide a couple of different quotes for us. So let me back up just a little bit. I stopped down. I talked with Ian a week or two ago. And I talked with Steve Kingsland at Dodson's about their opinions of the current and weather out around the Sandy Point area in regards to keeping buoys on station, and then also the Pawcatuck Point number 21 can. So the feedback from Dodson's is that currently we're using 100-pound pyramid anchors for the slow no wake buoys in the outer harbor, and occasionally we do find those slightly off station. Steve recommended that we go heavier So I asked for a quote for 200-pound pyramids and appropriate chain for the Sandy Point slow no wake buoys, and that would be for all 5. As far as the Osbrook Point, the green number 21, the general consensus is that we go with a very heavy mooring with a short scope chain, such that it's set up such that on a extreme high tide, a moon tide, something like that, we're actually, pulling hard on the chain, so that we don't have much scope and we don't get that buoy off station, because our worst fear would be to have that buoy drift, use the slack in the chain to end up north of the last rock and have somebody think that they can run next to the buoy and whack the rock there. So it's not real deep. So the discussions for that were to go to a 300-pound pyramid with a heavy either 3/4 or 1-inch chain, so that the chain will tend to just try and travel straight up and down as much as possible and not work back and forth too much. We're going to have, I honestly have not sat there for long periods of time to know right there next to the rock what the tidal current is. My suspicion is that it's far enough around the corner that the water that's coming out of the Pawcatuck River doesn't create too much of a current right where that buoy is going to be. I think most of what we're going to see is the predominant southwest wind trying to set that buoy over. So with that respect, in the discussion with all 3 of the providers, that's what we're looking for, is the 300-pounder. And knowing that I still have the open item to look at putting the helix in there, which would be the optimal. Obviously, it couldn't move. And if we were to do that, we'd find use for that 300-pound pyramid on one of our other buoys. Would relocate it to something else. So I don't think that's a bad option to look at. Also in that, Greenhaven's going to provide a quote for the annual removal, storage, and replacement for the 5 new slow no wake buoys. In general discussions, Ian said, it's good with me. I have no interest in going over there to do those. And Steve Kingsland said, yeah, I'm fine with spreading the wealth too. So I think if the
Okay.
if the
You're not getting quotes from those guys for it. Okay.
yeah, if the quote comes back reasonable, and Jay had already mentioned something, he said, I'm thinking in the neighborhood of $100 a buoy for the seasonal, which I think corresponds with what Ian charges us.
It does.
Yeah, that's we're 100 and a quarter with the others for the annual stuff. Bruce,
For the
Dodson's. Oh, yeah, they're all at about 100, I think.
yeah. So that sounded reasonable. So I expect to get those quotes back probably within a week, and I will pass that information on to Bruce, and we'll bounce that against what we have in the budget and figure out where we go from there. I think if the quote falls within the budget that we have, we should move forward and not wait. So this is April. If we waited to May to then say, yeah, go ahead and start placing orders, with availability of anything that's made out of steel these days, we might end up pushing our luck. So I don't know how the commission feels about just go ahead and moving ahead with that order if the quotes come back good.
A quick question. How is 21 impacted by the Coast Guard? proposal we talked about last week. I mean, it's not serviced by the Coast Guard, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, Joe. It's something that so with the buoy in place, it's going to have our permit number written on the top of it. Now, whether the Coast Guard would pay attention and get to it and say, oh, this is somebody else's, or, this doesn't show up, this must be a private aid, and not touch it, or just in their, I don't want to use rush, it's probably not the right term, but in their
Enthusiasm.
Excellent. To just
Easy.
clear those buoys right out of the channel. They might just grab it and keep on going and then put it back when they're done. We are the ones that are going to be making sure it's on station. And that'd be one of the nice things about having Greenhaven doing that one is that's more their area of operation than it is for either Dodson's or Don's. And Jay will be checking that thing every time he drives by it. So
Eric, I would assume that we'd have that out long before ice would be a problem. We take all this, the slow and awakes out
that's
by November, and ice is not going to be a problem there. So he'd probably already have it out. So I think the Coast Guard wouldn't even be involved.
So that's a point of discussion, and I wasn't going to worry too much about that tonight and wait till later in the season. Is that a buoy that we should pull in the winter?
Is this an aid to navigation as opposed to just the slow no wake precautionary thing?
Yeah, we leave our rock buoy in along Sandy Point year round. So this might be one of those ones where we get into after the second or third year, buying a second buoy, refurbing, or maybe haul it out for a month or so, at the end of the season and while they refurb it or something. But I think that'd be a late in the season discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should see how it.
Couple comments on that. Let me work backwards from the anchor. Part of the reason why we wanted to use a helix was, as you mentioned, to minimize the watch circle. On the other hand, the Coast Guard can't pull it if it's a helix. So that's one of the reasons why we kind of steered away from that to go with a heavy pyramid.
We could watch them try.
The other comment I have has to do with how does buoy 21 show up on charts or notice to mariners? How's the Coast Guard going to acknowledge that buoy exists? Did we ever address that?
So we are responsible for, once we have state approval for the buoy, which we have now. And I was going to wait until the buoy was actually in place. We're responsible for notifying the Coast Guard that we have a private aid to navigation there. Now I suspect, I don't know, and I'll ask them when I talk to them. I suspect that it then gets put, maybe 1 month it goes in the light list that it's established as a private aid to navigation. But as far as maintenance of the buoy goes, that's ours. We own it. Coast Guard doesn't. They're going to drive by it and say, wow, that's a nice shiny new buoy. We should have buoys like that. But
as far as currents go in that area, I tend to frequent that area a fair amount to go up the Pawcatuck River fishing. I've never really seen any strong currents in that particular area. So
yeah,
I think when the currents come out of the Pawcatuck River, it disperses pretty quickly at all a little Narragansett Bay, and the velocity comes almost to zero.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jesse. I haven't seen anything extreme there myself.
Not right at the point. No.
All right.
Will it look like the new foam buoys? I mean, is it the same shape and size and whatnot?
Honestly, I think it's probably exactly what the Coast Guard is buying. Bruce McKinnon, if anything, it might just be maybe one size down from what the Coast Guard is going to put in. But I wasn't on the phone call. I don't know if the Coast Guard told you what
Can you see that,
size.
Joe?
Oh yeah, let me see it.
Okay, that's the 4 CFR, the fourth class.
Or
I-
fourth class, that's big. Okay.
Yeah, that's what Eric and I, when we were at Gilman, that's what we decided, that we'd go with the 4th class.
Okay.
So I think one of the things that Eric asked of us is if we can proceed, or can somebody proceed with purchasing all these buoys? And I think the answer should be yes. Let's get started on that. I think we.
Jesse, that was,
Yeah, that's a later agenda item, Jess.
Oh,
We're
that's
all
going to
right.
be, I was going to discuss that too and ask
Okay.
for permission to go ahead with it. Yeah,
Right, never mind. We'll wait until it's on the agenda. I thought it was,
okay.
you brought it up. Okay,
So we'll finalize that piece of the when do we purchase discussion when Bruce talks buoys. So that takes care of that. The next item on the Harbor Masters report is a repeat from last month. Stonington Harbor Yacht Club is still planning on their flare demonstration on May 8th. And I got a phone call about that again this past Thursday, that it is, as of right now, it is a go. Scott Kraft called me. Excuse me. Sounds like he's got all the right people in the know that it's going to happen. And, you know, Jesse, if I were you, I'd plan on not being in town, because between the annoying sound signal out there from the breakwater and the flares in the morning, cripes, it's going to be unbearable.
in case they land on his deck.
yeah, I don't want to lit flare down land on my house there, you know.
Do you or don't you? You know,
Let me think about it.
yeah. You think about it and let me know. Let's see. That's
Eric, just a quick comment on that. Yeah, the flare off is that I think you mentioned 11:30, but people who are interested, there's a whole program in terms of boat safely and how to use these things, et cetera, that starts at the yacht club at 9 o'clock. So if anyone's interested in, being part of the whole thing, it starts before the flare off, but then people proceed to the point for the actual flare off.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Let's see. That's that. As far as the boat goes, I did talk with Row Marine, and they have they have an older version and a newer version of the companionway, cabin door, and trim piece. So I got to be able to get into the boat and get an accurate measurement. When I talked to the guy up there, he said, yeah, I'm standing here looking at one of the older ones, which is probably what you need. So that's going to be an ongoing project. I messaged with JP at PMW. I'd like to have the boat in the water before that May 8th flare demo day, just in case. And so we probably would be limited on trying to bring the boat up to Bristol, Rhode Island, to have them do any install, but we'll leave that as an open, how the timing all works out kind of deal. And ask JP to get it ready, and that's the end of the Harbor Master report.
Another question. What happened to the light proposal we're getting from Defenders? Did that happen? I don't recall.
I actually did not purchase one yet. Just haven't been able to really nail down which one to get. I was looking at a couple of them today at West Marine. I can say that because Bruce isn't on the meeting right now. For comparative shopping, I was looking at a couple of there. I'm still back and forth between a corded and a battery. I like the mobility of the battery one. My concern is the runtime on it, because honestly, when I've been out on these things at night, some of them say 3 hour on high. Some of them say 6 hour on high. If it was 6 hours, yeah, I could probably get away with it. 3 hours would definitely lose the charge. And I can't find definitive wording in the description that says that you can run it on the charger. So, i.e., could you run it as a corded spotlight when the charge runs out? I don't know, but we'll get that going before too long. June. Let me look at my calendar real quick here. June. I don't see it. June sometime. I think it was round about the 26th, 27th, that weekend, something like that. I think North Stonington EMS is trying to organize it again, but they are trying to put together a drill, a marine casualty drill to run somewhere, probably out in the Sandy Point area, where a sailboat race, a boat capsizes, people in the water, yada yada, and it a couple of pre-staged vessels, and then everything else kind of runs real time. From dispatch making the call to people responding and getting out there. So there will be something like that happening in June.
Why is North Stonington doing that as opposed to Stonington and the Stonington Police Department?
The last couple of times Stonington tried to put it together, for some reason, I'm outside of the planning phases of it. I'm a participant, not a planner. But for some reason, each time Stonington tries to put it together, it runs into some snag. The reason that North Stonington is running with it is that the chief in North Stonington is the brother of one of Stonington's part-time officers and one of the boat operators in Stonington. So the whole family tie thing is tying it together, and North Stonington really wants an excuse to take their inflatable out. So I think that by being the organizer, they maintain their involvement in it.
Do you know if they've notified Stonington
Oh yeah.
medical folks? And okay, so
Yep. Yeah. Everybody is already, that's why I know, that there's something going on. Everybody, probably 2 months ago, the first email went out saying, hey, we're going to try and do this again this year. Here's a couple of different dates to choose from and what's everybody's preference. And actually, now that I say that out loud, I think it was actually on a Thursday evening, not on a weekend.
Okay. I had one question. So Paul, hopefully he can hear me. Just talking with Paul, and you indicated that there were 6 new moorings from Paul's efforts.
Yeah, we've got, I think we still have 6 in the works from Paul.
So how many new ones have we made? I know we were trying to make like 20.
Yeah, we haven't made more offers beyond Paul's group yet.
Okay, it sounds like we should be able to, though. It sounds like he only got about I think he told me about a third
of his original grouping of 16, 18, 20, something
he
like
had
that.
26. He started with
22.
22.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
roughly a third dropped out, a third deferred, and ended up with 6.
Yeah.
And I haven't kept track of the actual number. It may be even less than 6.
Well, it sounds like we ought to go down another 20 and start making more offers.
Yep. Yeah, we can move along into the next group and figure out who's going to run with that.
Did we have so we have somebody who is going to take that. Paul wanted to do this group because he'd worked with them before.
Right.
Caleb, you did the group before this?
I did. I did 2 groups before this.
Yeah,
I
Before
was right
Paul's.
before, I was right before Mel.
You were before Mel. Okay.
I'm happy to do the next grouping, Eric. Just let me know what number to start at.
Okay, we'll pick it up from the top of where Paul ended, and we will reach out to the next 20,
You want
And
to do
see what-
20?
and we'll see what we get for, well, let's do it 10 and 10.
Yeah, let's
reach
do
out
10.
to 10, see what we get, and then because if we reach out to 10 and get 5 deferments, then we can reach out again. I'd hate to reach out to 20 and end up with
20
20
meeting moorings.
20 40-foot boats needing moorings.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
No.
the latest adventure was somebody that upgraded from I think a 28-foot boat to a 65-foot boat. I just did that one with Dotson's today, so.
Eric, my list ended at online mooring number 607, John Ahern, and he was removed from the wait list.
Ahern,
So-
Ahern.
Yes, Ahearn. He was online number 607.
And he was included in your list, right?
Yes, but he
Okay.
came off the wait list.
Right. So if we pick up at the next person, we're not duplicating effort and we're not
Yes.
skipping somebody.
And I'll do the next 10, Eric.
Yeah, we'll reach out to the next 10 initially and
Okay.
then take it from there.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the harbor master's report?
I so move.
Thank you, Bruce. Joe,
Second,
Thank you.
all right. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to our old business newsletter update. Melanie sent out a nice, a newsletter in pretty good shape. It's missing a couple parts like mine and Eric.
You're the last one. Eric sent me everything today.
Okay,
So you're the only one on the hook, Jay.
I was busy writing something else today. I was trying to get it. I've got a draft, but I want
Okay.
to sharpen it up a little bit. Make sure I'm referencing I'm referring to some of the things in the newsletter. So you might have to adjust some of the pages if they change from what where I referenced them. So you
Okay.
want to look at that.
Okay.
The other thing you do, you could change my term date on the last page to the 2024,
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
2021.
Let's see. J to 24 to 424.
And I guess Jess made gave you some good comments, good feedback. I saw feedback from a couple other people, or at least,
Yes, I got some great comments and feedback, and I've made all the changes and waiting for your piece, Jay, and it's ready to go to the printers.
okay.
So Melanie, I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I know I got a feedback from you that you incorporated all my comments. The one
Yes.
that was really most important was to recognize that my write-up on the Watt Club, they are no longer the sponsor for the Wednesday night series. So you got that one right. That's really important to make sure that
Okay.
correction gets
Let's see.
there.
Hey, was that still a COVID thing still, Jess? Or-
No, what's happened is that the organizers of Wednesday night sailing have determined that the Watt Club is not going to be participating in the after sailing events. And that's going to occur at the Stonington Harbor Yacht Club dinner on the bricks. So at the time that I did a write-up on the Watt Club, I did not know that was the case. So I did correct it in the Wednesday night series write-up, but I overlooked the fact that it also included it in the write-up on the Yacht Club. So it's really important that that section on the Yacht Club no longer refer to Wednesday night sailing ending up at their facility.
I took it out.
Okay. And the other thing, since I don't have the floor right now, I think this is the first time you folks have seen the write-up on Tucker and Sandy.
Nice job.
And I wanted to know if you guys had any comments on that, that we would want to incorporate. I can see the problem I had was confining it to one page. Actually, it was much more than that. But I felt that the best way to make a tribute to those folks was to have the people that were affected by them provide the comments. And I did that. And Joe, unfortunately, I had to pull yours out because I was just running out of space and everybody had to take a cut. But anyway, that's how it turned out. I hope you folks are okay with that. To my knowledge, it still will be a surprise to Tucker and Sandy. And I think they will respond very graciously to it.
It was nicely done. I moved it as you requested, and which is an easy fix in the publisher program. You just drag it to the next spot. So all good there.
Okay.
And I moved the Wednesday night racing, those 2 pages of the other articles that you did, Jesse, Cush, the Wad Club, and the Dinghy Club. I moved those all to the 2 pages before.
Okay. What Melanie's talking about, just so I can explain the rationale behind this. When I did the write-up on Wednesday night sailing and Small Boat Association, Tucker started all that stuff. And nobody knows that for the most part. So I wanted to say that kind of up front. So by the time the readers got to the spotlight, it made perfect sense as to why those people were selected. So thank you, Melanie, for moving things around. Hopefully it'll turn out with the right type of flow that I was hoping for.
I think it will. I've had I had some outside folks look at, and someone with graphics expertise, and gave me some suggestions on formatting and things like that.
Okay,
So
great.
we're getting good every year.
Okay, and just to plant a seed, whether this might not be the place for it, but I think the next spotlight for next year might want to seriously consider Spike Lobdell, because he's done a tremendous amount of things in this harbor and for Ness and just the kids. I mean, it's phenomenal what he's done from a grassroots movement to what's turned out to be a nationwide facility.
Did you guys, did anybody else see that? I think the announcement came out today that the, what was it, Caleb? It's the Ocean Community. It's
Yeah.
something is honoring him for the Man of the Year. And the thing is going to happen sometime in June. OCCC, Ocean Community something, but yeah, he's getting another honor on top of that too. So,
well, just something to think about for next year's newsletter. I'm always thinking about, things for the future. Wish I'd think more about the present.
I wrote
All right.
sticky out and put it in my folder for next year.
So Melanie, have you resolved how to get the addresses out of online mooring for the?
I have all set,
Really?
done.
Excellent.
They took care of that for me today. All
Great.
good with that. And I'll send an email over to the printer. And I just need a confirmation from everyone. We're going to send the printed copies to everybody on the list. And that came out to be almost a little over 500. So my thought is, should I have 1,200 printed? And the balance, like 600 or so to distribute around town? Is that
Sounds
good?
reasonable, yeah.
well, you figure Dotson's has 100 and 112 moorings. There's 112 copies theoretically there, plus some transient stuff. I think Ian is up above 50 dock slips now, if not pushing 75. Cardinal Cove's got another 25 or 30. So there's the easy first 300.
Well, the trouble with that is, do the people really pass by those locations where they could pick up one of these? In the case of Don's Dock, they've always told me that nobody ever picks them up. Nobody comes into the store. Dotson's has them placed on their where the launch people are, and sometimes I go. The real place where they get picked up is Tom's News.
Tommy's, yeah.
And I've replenished those probably 3 or 4 times over the past summer. So that's really where it gets picked up.
Yep.
Where the word gets also spread is through the realtors. If you get some to the realtors in town, there's people always going in there, and it's great information, not just about not just the harbor, but about a lot of things that are going on around here. It's very interesting reading for people who aren't familiar.
I think that's a good idea. The realtors hadn't even thought about that.
Really, the yacht clubs, the wild clubs, SHYC, we'd like a stack of them because they're always good to have.
I
The Yacht
put a
Club takes
new
a bunch. Harbor knows.
Don's Dock now has, my husband installed a bin right near the docks last year. And it went through most of them. I filled it twice. So Don's Dock is getting use of them.
Yeah, they get
So,
them there. I put one at the small boat too, one of those bins.
okay,
So it sounds like the short answer is yes to 1,200.
Yes, let's do that.
okay. I will take care of that. And then for May's meeting, I'll let y'all know how you're gonna all distribute them for me. Thank you in advance.
Okay, next item. Here you go, Bruce. I think we haven't covered. Go ahead on the
All right.
point buoys.
Buoys. First of all, it says Pawcatuck Point Private Aton. So that's Green Can 21. And as we said before, it's a 5th class. It's bigger. One point about that, it'll be done in now probably 3 to 5 weeks. It'll be ready. And Eric, I think they're assuming we're going to pick it up.
Okay.
Is that all right? One point to make sure, Greenhaven, if we go with them, the class 5 come in 4 parts. It just has to be assembled. All it is the metal insert and the foam outside and a plate and a nut and whatever.
Okay.
Because they're 250 pounds, so you're not going to muscle them around. We muscled the other ones around, and that was enough. The ones that we got the 4th class, or the 5th class. These are class 4.
They understand these have to float, don't they?
Well, they'll float.
Don't worry, Bruce. Bruce, my truck can handle 250 pounds. Don't worry.
Oh, good. Even with the two of us in it. All right.
Bruce,
Now, going,
the Coast Guard's buoys in the Sandy Point Channel are 5th class buoys.
they're 5th class. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's my big point. So I didn't want to order the slow no wakes until I had, there's a lot of money. I wanted the entire commission to tell me to go ahead and order them. So I didn't do that pending this meeting tonight. So what I did, I was able this time to bypass the salesperson that Eric and I talked to, which I liked. I like to bypass him. And I reached President Elizabeth Gilman. So I'll try to summarize it. We had intended to put in class 5 buoys, like our other slow no wake buoys that we have in the harbor, the bigger ones with the
Collar.
Thanks for that word. Elizabeth said, "Hey, wait a minute. DEEP Connecticut just returned a bunch of class 4 larger buoys. She said, and so they're the same class as the Osbrook Point one. They're bigger, they're 250 pounders. She can give us 5 reconditioned buoys from DEEP. She said what they do when they recondition, they replace all the metal with new, all the metal pieces, and then they recondition the foam and re-letter and do all that. Are you ready? The class 5 that we had intended to buy, 5 of them, just going by what we paid for the anchor area buoys, which are class 5, the 2 new ones, they were $1,741 each. It was about that would be about $8,700 for 5 of them. She'll sell us 5 class 4s for $733 to replace the metal, and another $50 to refurbish, $783 each. So that comes out to $3,915, which is a savings of $4,790. I hope nobody says, no, I want to go with the more expensive ones. So anyway, we'll get 5 of the bigger buoys, all new metal, and we'll be saving $4,790, almost $4,800. So the question, can we afford the bigger buoys, the bigger anchors? Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah,
So-
go for it.
That's what we'll do. I'll call her tomorrow, and she said I'll go right downstairs. I'll tell them to save those buoys, 5 of those buoys, put them aside, don't sell them to anybody else. We got it for Stonington Harbor. This is what we were able to do years ago when we bought the less expensive, the slow no wake buoys, the bigger ones.
So-
Bruce, how do those buoys get to our possession here? Do we have to pick them up as a delivery issue?
I have a feeling we'll have to pick them up, Jesse.
Okay.
I have that feeling. So just keep in mind, maybe Eric's trailer can handle them, right?
I got trailers that'll handle that. Yep. No problem.
And I think maybe if we just plan on it and get a few people together again, these are going to come disassembled, so they'll have to be put together. And the heaviest piece is 127 pounds out of that 250. So that's not bad. I mean, 2 people can handle that. So I think we can deal with the delivery when that time comes. And I assume these are going to take probably about 4 to 6 weeks to be delivered to. So I will call and order those tomorrow.
Bruce, while you got her on the phone, why don't you ask her if she can deliver it all? I mean,
I
if it's
could do that.
another couple $100 to have them deliver it to wherever we want to stage these, it's well worth doing.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if they have the machinery to do that. I know her husband has delivered, he personally delivered, I don't know, it looks like about 35 mooring buoys to Dodson's in his own truck and trailer. And he was alone, and she wanted to make sure that somebody would be at Dodson's to unload them for him. So I'm not sure they have the delivery, but I will definitely ask Jesse. I'll ask her tomorrow.
Yeah,
No.
it's not an issue if they want us to go grab them. It's not a long trip, and we have the machinery to pick those up.
We do.
Quick question. Quick question is, you say they're replacing the metal, which is good. The more fragile part of these buoys, it seems like would be the foam, and they're not replacing it. They're reconditioning the foam. I guess,
Right.
what's any idea of what's the expected life of a new buoy versus a reconditioned buoy?
I think there won't be any difference. And she assured me that they come out looking brand new.
I could swear-
Is that the same as having a lifespan the same? Just maybe it is. I don't know that it's not. I'm just asking the question.
I thought somewhere in some discussion at some point, Bruce, that somebody, probably you, when they recondition the foam, that means they replace the collar. That the middle section stays the same. And because the collar is where you see all the wear and the abuse, the waterline abuse. And I thought sometime in the past that had come up, and the answer was they replaced the collar.
That could be. I know they added collars to some of our buoys.
Okay, maybe that was it.
We had the spar buoys for the anchor area, and one slow no wake that's out in the cut between Wampausick and the breakwater, and they added that for
Okay, maybe that was it.
a reasonable or no cost. No, I think that if they're sort of beat up on the outside, I think they have ways they can just replace the outer piece of foam.
The collar, yeah.
Might shave a little foam off or something to freshen them up.
Yeah.
Well, that makes the case for us going down to pick them up, because if we see them on the site and we say, hey, we changed our mind, we don't want these beat up buoys, if they deliver, it's going to be, it's whatever it is we get. So maybe there's a case for us going down there to pick them up.
So if the state just returned a whole bunch of buoys and they're willing to give us a deal on 5, is it worth looking into buying 2 spare replacement buoys now while there's some available, and we can put them in the storage shed?
She didn't tell me how many they had,
Yeah.
but I had mentioned 5, and she said, yeah, we could do that. So I could ask her.
I mean, is it something that's worth it to the commission? We'd end up sitting on them for a couple of years probably, but
Yeah, we just redid the ones in the harbor, right?
yeah, Ian had a bunch of new ones for the anchorage sitting there, and we just did the other ones. So
We reconditioned a bunch at 4 out of the 5 at Dodson's.
yeah.
For the slow no wakes, and the anchorage area, we bought 2 new ones.
Maybe, yeah, I guess we're in really good shape then right now. So, all right. Just an idea.
I think we are. So I'll go ahead and do that tomorrow.
Right. Going back to the earlier discussion on Greenhaven Marina, can I get a motion to authorize Eric to engage them before the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Commit us to hire them. Did I get a second?
That's so move.
Second,
Who's second? I'm sorry.
me, Bruce.
Bruce did.
Okay.
I no longer have to say Bruce M.
I know.
Any discussion on that? Not,
So I won't take it upon myself. When I get the numbers back, I'll pass them along to Bruce McKinnon and to you, Jay. At a
okay,
minimum.
I can author. I have the authority to authorize you, just like Sherman does.
Yeah.
Personally.
So, we'll have some checks and balances installed there.
Okay. Well, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Is that any more?
From me? No.
Okay. Okay, so on to the Stonington Harbor Management Plan revision. Now we have our ordinance passed. I need to follow up with DEP on the rest of the plan and see what's in see what we have to do there. So I imagine we'll be working that through most of the summer, getting that sorted out, any changes to the plan part of the document. And then new business, we have a town vacancy. We already talked about that. And any other new business?
I have a thought. I know we talked from the last meeting that, it was going late and we didn't want to continue past 9 o'clock. I don't know the history of the commission and why 7 p.m. was chosen. I'm wondering, should we consider moving our meetings to 6 or 6:30 so that we, when we have a heavy agenda, we're not going to 9:30, 10 o'clock?
I would be against that. I think we need to limit these meetings to 2 hours. I don't think we want to start it sooner just so we can stay later. I think we should be
Well,
able
that
to do
wasn't
all,
my
we should be able to
hope.
do all of our business in 2 hours.
I,
That's
I,
more than enough time.
I personally would have a problem if, if we started at 6 or 6:30 and it's a day that I'm working, because I don't get out of work in Waterford until 6 o'clock.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like 6:35, 6:40 by the time I get home on a work day. So
Okay.
it would create an issue for me personally being there on time. I'd be joining late.
Hmm.
As it is, I take vacation nights when we have night meetings like tonight.
And we would have to give 2 months notice to the town to make a change like that too.
Oh,
So
then
we
I
can't
think
just,
we
we
need to
can't
leave
just,
it as
we
is.
can't just decide that we're going to change when
Gotcha.
we're going to have our meetings.
Then let's take Jesse's suggestion and cut it down to 2 hours.
Okay, all right, in light of that.
Yeah.
Any
Or
other new
less,
business?
or less. How about less?
Okay, any other new business? No? All right, so then now we'll move into executive session.
Been fun, y'all. See you next month.
Thank you,
Bye.
Eric.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll give you, why don't you give me a call when you get up and you get motivated?
Yeah, and I have coffee.
Yeah,
Okay.
have your coffee.
Will
right.
do.
All right, bye.
Bye. I'm gonna stop the recording now.
Okay.